Come on. Hey, it's working. Finally. Hooray for computers, right? Have you guys ever heard me say, I hate computers? Well, I do hate computers. Hey, there it goes there. All right. We can officially say we are live now. And it's not Memorex, it's live. It's not enough memory to open this page. What the heck is going on here? Reload. All right, so it's still going, but it's not going, but it's going, but it's not going. Shows, well, you know what? It says I'm still going, so you know what? I'm just gonna run with it. And if worse comes to worse, we'll come back. Let's see if I can close some of these things down, and maybe we can get something going. All right, let's see. Close some of those. You know what? I'll close down the website that I was working on. Close those down. All right. Hopefully that's working. All right. So, yeah. How about that, huh? Standfast Saturday. And the thing is that today is all about fear, and the fear that reveals you. You know, I mean, it's one of those things that, you know, we are all scared of something. You know, there's two types of fear. I've already talked about this before. Two types of fear: good fear and bad fear. The good fear is the fear of trying and standing on the edge of the Grand Canyon without a rope. And then there's, hey Beth, good fear is standing there watching your kids play stand there watching your kids play out in the yard and see a white van down the street. That's a good fear. Then there's the bad fear of being afraid of starting that business that you want. The bad fear is a fear of not starting, the fear of starting your book that you want to start. A bad fear is not going in for that interview for that all-time job that you want. That's a bad fear. So we're trying to get the idea on what's good fear and bad fear. Good fear is a fear of watching your kids play by the stove. That's a bad fear. You know, I mean that's no, I mean that's a good fear. That's a good fear. Yeah, yeah. We shouldn't let the kids play by stoves. I mean, I remember when Patty Trown burned her whole fingertips off. You know, she never did that again. But you know what? Good fears, bad fears. And the thing is, sorry about that. Okay, cool. All right, sorry about that. Ooh, what the hell? Ugh, cats on the desk. Sorry about that. Anyway, so there's a moment in everybody's life where fear shows up louder than normal. I mean, and that's the thing. We have fear show up when we least expect it. And sometimes it's the bad fear and sometimes it's good fear. You know, and like I said, good fear, bad fear. We gotta distinguish. A bad fear is where you're afraid to try and go for that job interview. Bad fear is where you're afraid to try and write that book. A bad fear is where you're afraid to try and go up in front of people and stand there and give them your message. Where good fear is making sure kids aren't playing in the street, making sure that you're tethered when you're standing on the edge of the Grand Canyon. That's a good fear. And there's moments in everybody's life where that fear is louder than it should be. Hey, Natasha. And it's not even the everyday fear. It's not the, oh, I hope I don't embarrass myself here. And that's a bad fear. You shouldn't be afraid of embarrassing yourself. Because you know what? When you embarrass yourself, you're able to stand up and do something that somebody else isn't is too afraid to do. That somebody else doesn't have the courage to do. And so that's the thing, is fear doesn't show up randomly. Fear is that little voice that sits on your shoulder and saying, what if? What if it doesn't work? Fear shows up when you're standing so close to the moment of breakthrough, because you are right there. See, think about this for a minute. When was the last time that you felt a fear of being bigger than what you are? See, that's a bad fear. Right? Bad fear is when you're afraid to try and expand yourself and let yourself be the person that you actually have envisioned. That fear is a kind that makes your voice shake, your legs quiver. The kind of fear that makes you want to run back to what's comfortable. Exactly. Fear is actually a very powerful, over-imaginative imagination. And that's where I'm like trying to say there's two types of fear. There's a good fear and bad fear. The good fear is when you should try and actually be afraid for your life. Afraid to try and watch the kids try and play by the stairs. The 2-year-old playing by the stairs. Yeah, go get that kid away from me. Yeah, that's a good fear. Bad fear is when you're about ready to try and step up to something that's new and exciting for you, that you're going to try and benefit from, that you can actually help other people with. Because see, you know what? When you think about it, that time that you felt that kind of fear, when you're about ready to step through that door and be somebody different, that moment wasn't a warning. That moment was your revelation. That moment was your assignment. Finally jumping for joy and saying, here, I'm here. I'm finally gonna be here. Because you know what? Fear isn't emotional. Fear is directional. It's a signal. It's a spotlight. Because when you feel fear, when you feel fear around something that could grow you, that could stretch you, that could elevate you, that could expose your potential, that fear is revealing the exact areas where you've been hiding. The exact areas where you've been procrastinating. The exact areas where you have to actually step up and grow. Now, I've got a pastor that's online right now, and he's one of my best friends, in my opinion. And I want to try and quickly throw out there one of the major, most repeated phrases in the Bible. Come back here, camera. Thank you. One of the most repeated phrases in the Bible. that God tells us to do. And it's up there. It's really up there, and you'll be shocked because it's in both the New and the Old Testaments. Anybody want to give me a hint on what it is? Anybody? Psalms 41:10. What is that? That's a good one. Let's see. Psalms 41:10. Let's take a quick look at that. A plea for God's mercy and strength. But no, not quite. Bingo! Boom, 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 boom. Pastor Richard, you are correct. The number one phrase repeated constantly in the Bible is fear not, for I am with you. In fact, Jesus talks about the birds don't even fear about things because they are supplied, they're taken care of. That's actually one of my favorite quotes out there. Now, fear not. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thy rod and blah blah blah. Anyways, I haven't actually said that one in years, but you know what? Most people misinterpret fear as a stop sign. It's like, I'm scared. That's it. Done. I'm going to go hide. You know, they fear that it's time to try and batten down the hatches and go and hide. But you know what? Fear is actually a green light. It's saying, go, move, step, walk. This is the way. You know, because your assignment, your goals, your dreams, the dreams that God gave you are almost always located after something that you're scared to do. And that's the thing is, yeah, your purpose, your dreams, your goals are always connected to something you've been avoiding. Isaiah 41:10. Okay. Isaiah, I gotta look that up. Oh. I don't remember too many things. I just remember the one. Yep, a well-known biblical passage offering reassurance. Yeah, okay. Do not fear, for I am with you. Fear not, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed. I am your God. Exactly. But you know what? That's the thing. Your goals in life are almost always connected to the things that you are avoiding, that you're procrastinating, that you're scared to do because of something. You're scared to speak. You know what? That's because your assignment's attached to your voice. You're scared to lead. That's because your assignment is tied to leadership. Maybe perhaps you're supposed to start that business. Maybe perhaps you're supposed to be a supervisor. You're scared to start. Maybe perhaps you're supposed to write that book. Maybe you're supposed to start that invention. Maybe you're supposed to start school again. You're scared to be seen. Maybe perhaps you're supposed to be the next actor. Maybe you're supposed to be the next musician. I mean, there are so many musicians out there, and only some of them actually are in my opinion, pretty decent and actually lead a positive lifestyle, in my opinion. You know, don't talk about killing people and all the other stuff like that. You know, and well, yeah, we want wholesome. Because you know what happens? Fear isn't random. And fear isn't targeted. It's intelligent. It's prophetic. See, it reveals the exact areas you need to work on. It reveals the exact areas that your next level is waiting for you. It reveals the next room that all you have to do is open the door and step through to your next level. And the thing is that most people let their assignment hide from them behind that fear. You know, and the thing is that that level is waiting for you to stop hiding from it. A lot of people think that they need more clarity. You don't need clarity. A lot of people think they don't need more signs. You don't need more signs. A lot of people think they need more time. You don't need more time. You need courage. Courage to start that movement. Courage to take a step forward. Courage to follow the obedience that you need to follow through with your habits. Exactly. Increase your faith. Because you know what? The only way you're going to overcome that fear is by taking that step. Because the moment you start walking towards that fear, your goals, your dreams, your assignment, it stops whispering and starts speaking loudly. Sort of like watching a little kid learn how to walk. Yes, you're terrified to see the kid stand on his 2 feet, a little 2-year-old, little 1-year-old, whatever. But you're afraid he's going to fall over and clock his head on a table, or he's going to fall over and clock their head on God knows what. But at the same time, you're rooting for him. And that's how your goals are. They see that you're afraid, but you know what? They're there. Come on, you can do it. Come on. Like you are with that little child. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Come on, come to Pappy. And then that moment you take that first step towards your goals, towards your dreams. And you believe in yourself that you can do it. And you have the faith that you can do it. And you focus on where you're going. You'll overcome that fear. And you know, I'm going to tell you something really powerful here, right? I want to say that one of the things I've always talked about is comfort kills your goals. All right? Exactly. You have to have a belief in your own confidence. Thank you, Pastor. Your abundance that is waiting for you, it's not going to sit there and wait for you on the other side of the couch. It's not going to sit there and wait for you on the other side of comfort. It's not going to sit there and wait for you inside that little hideaway spot in your bedroom when you're scared or depressed or whatever like this. It's not going to wait for you there. It's going to be out there on the other side of stepping up, getting up and going. Your abundance, your blessings that you're wanting, that you're waiting on, that are yours for the taking, is on the other side of getting up. And
my heart hurts.
Well, you're not dead yet, so that's a good sign.
Yet.
I'm in the middle of something.
Okay.
All right, have a seat. Stay well.
No thanks. Gotta find my cat.
All right. Sorry about that. Daughter thinks she's having a heart attack. But the truth of the matter is she's had 3 Red Bulls and about 4 Mountain Dews today. So I think it's a panic attack / caffeine attack. So we'll just leave it at that. But you know what? Your abundance is on the other side of that fear. On the other side of getting up and moving towards it. On the other side of that door that you're afraid to open. On the other side of that chest that you're afraid to open up, that Pandora's box that people are afraid of opening. Because what if we open it? What's inside? Well, you know what? You'll never know until you do it. You'll never know if you'll get that job that you want so badly if you don't go for the interview. You'll never know if you'll graduate from college if you don't go, if you don't apply. You'll never know how that book sells if you don't ever write it. Because the opportunities you want, the things that you decide that you want out of your life, instead of walking around saying, must be nice to have a nice car, must be nice to have a nice house, must be nice to have this. Well, you know what? Yeah, it is nice. But to have it, somebody had to overcome their fear to stand up and go for it. Because the elevation, the resources, the blessings, the rooms that you want to enter, the version of you that you want to be, yes, is on the other side of that boat railing. You have to step out of the boat and go with faith. Believe. Because fear is the gatekeeper of your dreams. If you let fear control your life, you'll never get your dreams. If you let fear control your life, you'll never reach the next level. If you let fear guard the door, you will never see the abundance that is yours waiting on the other side. You'll never see the book that is deep inside your head that you want to write. You'll never, ever lose that 100 pounds because you're afraid to walk in a gym because you might get embarrassed. You'll never, ever have that business if you're not afraid to start it. And you know what? I'm guilty. I'm guilty. You'll never know exactly what's wrong with you unless you go to the doctor. I'm guilty of that one. I was raised, I'm a man. As long as I'm not bleeding out, I'm perfectly okay. But you know what? A couple of years ago, I almost died because I was too manly to try and go to the doctor. I'm just going to lay here for a little bit. I'll be fine. And I ended up going to the emergency room, not even realizing I went to the emergency room. And the next morning, I'm in ICU with ice packs on my chest and stuff like that because I went into sepsis shock or something, from what I'm told. So, but that all because of kidney stones. Gotta love that. But you know what? I go to the doctors now. I learned a lesson. See, fear protects the territory of your breakthroughs. And the thing is, if you overcome that fear, if you get up and step up and go through that fear, so much good news is yours. Because fear is not stronger than you are. You are stronger. You're bigger than the fear is. Fear is just a little voice that sits on your shoulder. I'm sure we've all seen those cartoons of the little devil sitting on a shoulder and a little angel on the other shoulder. Fear is that little devil that's sitting on the shoulder right there telling you, don't do it. You'll embarrass yourself. What if you fail? What if you have to file bankruptcy? What if you have to this? What, you know? And meanwhile, the angel on the other side's like, you know what? What if your book is Amazon bestseller? What if your business explodes? Do you realize that somebody opened up a chapter out here by us called the poop? Where are you at, camera? What? Why? Come on. Hey, up. Hello. Automatic zoom, baby. Yeah. Or say, yeah, one or the other. But anyways, somebody opened up a business picking up dog poop. That's a crazy idea. But you know what? People are paying for it. People are paying for it. Somebody was afraid of starting a business, but they still did it. And you know what? It's turning into a nationwide thing. You can actually go online and look up pooper scoopers. And it's the stupidest idea out there, but you know what? It worked. My favorite one is who all knows about this? Huh? Some crazy guy grabbed the rock, put some googly eyes on it, put it in a box, and sold them for $1 a piece. Guy's a millionaire. Welcome to my pet rock. And people thought it was stupid. But you know what? He overcame the fear of being embarrassed. He overcame the fear of attempting something different that was never done. See, fear is not your enemy. Fear is not bigger than you. Fear is simply the test before your blessings. Fear is just simply the challenge before you get your A+ on that test. Fear is the challenge before you get your bestseller status on Amazon. Fear is the challenge you get before you get your diploma from college. Fear is the challenge you get before you make your first dollar on your business. Because when you overcome fear, you unlock your abundance. When you overcome fear, you unlock your future. When you overcome fear, you activate the overflow that is going to come to you. When you overcome fear, your abundance is no longer delayed by the procrastination that fear causes. Because fear says, you know what? I'll start tomorrow. Well, not many people realize that, but procrastination is fear's little cousin. And that procrastination will deny your abundance. That procrastination will deny your blessings. That procrastination will deny your goals, your dreams. It won't deny it. It'll actually kill them. It'll knock them out by saying, you know what? I'll start next week. I'll start on the first of the month. I'll start on the new moon. I'll start when I have a little bit more time. I'll start when I have a little extra dollars in the bank. I'll start working out when after I get rid of all the sugary sweets in the fridge. I'll start writing that book when I get myself a new notepad. See, procrastination is fear's little cousin. When fear realizes it's winning, it's not winning anymore. When fear realizes that, hey, you know what? We've got somebody here. We've got somebody who's got courage. We got somebody who's going to get up. We got somebody who's going to try to do something with their life. I know. Hey, procrastination, come on over here. I've got somebody for you here. Check this out. Talk this guy here. And procrastination says, oh, hey, you know what? That's a great idea. That's a beautiful idea. Oh, you're going to write a book. Okay. All right. You know what? Let's wait until this weekend when you have a little more time. Let's go sit on the couch. Game of Thrones is on. Duck Dynasty's on, or the Kardashians are on, or whatever. We'll start that. We'll start that business idea this weekend when we have a little bit more time, because you got to get up early in the morning, and well, you don't want to be up all night thinking about your business idea. And so procrastination and fear, they are hand in hand. And your abundance, your goals, your dreams, they're all waiting for you to take that step. And that step kills both fear and procrastination. And today's Standfast Saturday. All right. And I want to stress, stand fast means you take that courage. You get up, you stand up, you try and say, you know what? This is my calling, and I'm going to try and do something about it today. Even if it's going to take 5 minutes of my time, I'm going to take 5 minutes out, and I'm going to focus on my book. I'm going to focus on working out. I'm going to focus on my business idea. I'm going to focus on my family. I'm going to focus on whatever it is that your dream is. Whatever your calling is, whatever your assignment is. Because you know what? God gave you a dream and you're not lazy. Only you have that dream. And only you can bring it out. Now, I'm not telling you have to eliminate the fear. It's going to be there. You just have to outlast it. And when I say outlast it, I mean withstand it. All right? But own it. Because another fear that's out there, and it's a bad fear. And people go with, what if? What if I file bankruptcy? Change it around. What if the business, no matter how stupid it is, takes off and you become a millionaire? What if that business takes off and helps you put your family to their school? What if that business takes off and helps other people see you stand up? You outlast your fear and you own it. And then you win, taking it to the next level. Because your abundance, your future is waiting on the other side of that door. All you got to do is open it, step through it. Walk towards that fear. Because your destiny is waiting for you. You need to stop waiting for it. Because that's fear's cousin. And you know what? You've withstood more than you know. You've owned more than you've seen. And it's time to believe in yourself. It's time to try and stand up. It's time to try and win in a way that nobody can ignore. It's time to make your next move your loudest one yet. Because fear is just a whisper sitting on your shoulder. And it's time to go. Because your future is waiting on the other side of that door that all you have to do is turn the knob and step through. Pastor Richard, I love you, man. You're awesome. On that one, peoples, it's been a great night. You guys have an excellent evening. I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Soul Fire Sunday. And I'm not going to give you the title for tomorrow's. Look for it. You have an excellent evening, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Have a great night.